Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Talk Sports Show with Alec Pecado. Today's show is loaded. I'm giving you my NFL picks, upsets, covers, locks, and best bets. And I will be giving you an NFL mock draft as well as some college football upset picks. Let's get started. We're going to start with the mock draft. So, with the Bears, obviously, I'm going to start this draft. So, the Bears obviously have the first pick in the draft. They need they need quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, and cornerback. I do not have them taking a quarterback at number 1. I have them taking... Actually, I might have them taking a wide receiver. I have them taking... I think they stick with Justin Fields. And I think they take Marvin Harrison, number 1. Number 2, I think the Cardinals, they're going to stick with Kyler Murray. And I think they go with an offensive lineman. And that offensive lineman would be Alu Fashanu out of Penn State. Patriots at number 3. They need a quarterback. Mac Jones is not the answer. I think they take Caleb Williams. And then the Bears at number 4. They already got their wide receiver of the future. At number 4, the Bears take offensive lineman Joe Alt. The Giants at number 5, I think they take a quarterback. And I think it'll be Drake May from North Carolina. At number 6, the Titans. They need offensive linemen, but the top 2 O-linemen have already gone. They could take Halis Fuanga out of Oregon State. I think the Titans end up going with a wide receiver at number 6. And they take Malik Neighbors out of LSU. They need another wide receiver to complement DeAndre Hopkins if he decides to come back next year and doesn't go to free agency. But the other reason I have them taking a wide receiver here is because I don't think Treylon Burks cannot stay on the field. Number 5, the Commanders. At number 7, the Commanders go with D lineman Jerzon Newton out of Illinois. If you saw the trade deadline, The Commanders traded away Montez Sweat and Chase Young. So they need somebody to pair up with Jonathan Allen. And I think Drazon Newton would be the perfect fit for that. And now the Falcons at number 9. At number 8. They could go many different directions here. But they need, I have them taking a defensive back here, and it's going to be, this guy is my number 1 DB in the class, and it is Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. Packers need a running back, tackle. Okay, so this is where interior offensive lineman. So I have him taking a offensive lineman, offensive tackle. Talise Fuanga out of Oregon State. Buccaneers at 10. This is my team, and this is a team I watch, one of my 2 favorite teams, and I watch them the most, and it took Brock Bowers, which, yes, we do need Brock Bowers. So the Jets at 10, the Jets at 11 will take, I like them taking a wide receiver here. And it's going to be Rome Odunze out of Washington. The Chargers at 11, at 12 will take, they need cornerback help really bad. And I have them taking a cornerback here. Cornerback. I think they take Kool-Aid McKinstry out of Alabama. Because you saw they traded away J.C. Jackson. They don't necessarily have that number 1 corner, and they need to get younger in the secondary. So I have them taking Kool-Aid McKinstry. He is my CB2. Rams at 13. I have them taking a quarterback. This is where I have Bo Nix going. Bo Nix is going to go to the Rams. The Raiders at 14. Quarterback, running back, offensive line. I don't have Jaden Daniels going yet. Ooh, running back. So they need a running back. Keon Coleman. Nope. So I have the Raiders. Let's see. JC. I have the Raiders an offensive lineman here. And I don't think it's too early to take this guy. Amarius Mims out of Georgia. The Raiders need offensive line help desperately. They need it bad. And I think Amarius Mims is the perfect offensive lineman for the Raiders. Colts at 15. They take Keon Coleman, wide receiver out of Florida State. And he's a nice, tall receiver for Anthony Richardson to look for. And he has the same physical traits as Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. Alec Pierce is not working out there in Indy. I don't know how much longer he's going to last, but he's not working out. So I think they take Keon Coleman. Broncos at 16. So they need quarterback, wide receiver, center, edge, and corner. This is where I think the Broncos take a a J.C. Latham can play. He's a tackle, but you could probably move him inside. So no, I don't think it's going to be him. I think they take interior offensive lineman. Ooh, there's no more interior offensive lineman that could go in the first round. So I do think they go offensive lineman, and I think this is where JC Latham comes off the board. The Bengals at 17, tackle, defensive lineman, and tight end. I think the Bengals go defensive line here. And I think, maybe not. What about offensive tackle? Barton. I think the Bengals need offensive line, and I think they take tackle Graham Burton. He's ranked 28th, projected to go inside the top 20. He's at his average draft position right now is 23.7. I think Graham Barton would be the perfect get in the draft for the Bengals. The Bills at 18. I'm going to go with wide receiver Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. Could you imagine an offense with Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Emeka Egbuka? And your two outside receivers are Egbuka. If you don't want to put Egbuka in the slot and you want to put Gabe Davis in the slot, and this is if Gabe Davis stays. Gabe Davis could leave and go to free agency and go somewhere else, which would make the wide receiver even more enticing. And I think they take Emeka Egbuka out of Ohio State. The Saints at number 19, they need D-line and tackle. And I think they take Leonard Taylor is, when I do my film on draft prospects, there's just something about Leonard Taylor that sticks out to me. Heavy motor guy, high energy. He does, but the problem is Miami doesn't use him correctly. But I think the Saints take him here at 19 to get somebody else up the middle to help Carl Granderson. Vikings took Laiatu Latu out of UCLA. Cardinals are back on the clock at 21. And I'm going to have them taking. So they got. Who did they get with their first pick? They got Olu Fushanu at number 2. Now I have them taking a defensive lineman. Get to it. There we go. I have them taking a cornerback now. And that's going to be Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. They need young, athletic secondary help. And I think Cooper DeJean fits that wonderfully. The Seahawks at number 22, they need edge. And Chop Robinson has fallen too far. I think Chop Robinson would be the perfect pick for the Seahawks. Steelers, linebacker, center, and DB. Here is where I have another DB coming off the board. And it is Kalen King from Penn State. The Steelers need help at DB. Patrick Peterson he's a shell of his former self. He's not the same lockdown corner he used to be. Joey Porter on the other side he's going to be really good. You need somebody to pair with him. And I think Kalen King would be the perfect pick. Texans took Dallas Turner out of Alabama. So the Texans, did they have 2 first-round picks? No. So the Dolphins, they need tight end. Any tight ends I would be opposed to taking. I don't see any tight ends. What was their other need? Offensive line. Oh, I could definitely see them reaching in an offensive lineman here. Here's another thing. I don't see an offensive lineman they could take in the first round unless they really like Troy Fortuna out of Washington. They do need offensive line, and I think that's who they're going to take. Cowboys at 26, I'm also going to give them a cornerback. And this is where I think Josh Newton comes off the board. Cowboys need a cornerback on the other side of Trayvon Diggs. Devon Bland has been a nice find for the slot, but they need another outside boundary corner. And I think Josh Newton fits that profile perfectly. 49ers, corner and offensive line. Now, here's the issue. Is there any cornerbacks left that I would take in the first round? It says Denzel Burke's not supposed to go to the 51st pick. But I could see an outside chance, if he keeps playing good, that he sneaks into the first round. And the 49ers like their long, lanky, tall DBs. And I think Denzel Burke would fit perfectly in San Francisco. So I have the 49ers taking Denzel Burke out of Ohio State. Jaguars, they need edge, and I have the perfect pick for them. He has set on the board, and everybody thought he was going to go in the top 10. Edge rusher Jared Verse out of Florida State. I think this would fit. He would fit absolutely perfect in the Jaguars defense. So give me Jared Verse out of Florida State to go to the Jags. The Ravens, wide receiver, DB, and corner. Wide receiver, defensive line, and cornerback. And I think so. This is right around where A.D. Mitchell, Adonai Mitchell, should be going. I think the Ravens take Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. Another wide receiver. Odell's only on a 1-year deal. Rashad Bateman, he's been hit or miss. So I think A.D. Mitchell would fit perfect in a Todd Monken offense. At number 30, the Detroit Lions are going to take cornerback I think the Detroit Lions take Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia at number 30. Is this if he stays on the board, he'll go in the second round. The Chiefs at 31. I think the Chiefs take Xavier Legette, wide receiver. Let me see what other wide receivers are. Jalen Polk. Johnny Wilson. Lad McConkey. No, it's too far down. Johnny Wilson. Xavier, I think the Chiefs here take Xavier Worthy out of Texas. They need a number one wide receiver. As you can see, Kadarius Toney is not that. Valdez-Scantling's a good deep threat. McCole Hardman can't stay healthy. Justin Watson's a good complementary wide receiver, 3 or 4. So I like the Chiefs here to take Xavier Worthy out of Texas. And the Eagles, with the last pick in the first round, they need a linebacker, wide receiver, and defensive back. And let's see, what linebackers are there? Edgerrin Cooper, Carter. Yeah, no. DBs. Let's see, what do we got for DBs? Actually, yes, I will have the Eagles taking a defensive back here. Just trying to figure out who it's going to be. I think the Eagles here take Terrion Arnold out of Alabama. This is 2 picks before he's projected to go, but the Eagles need defensive back because you're going to lose James Bradbury. Darius Slay's not getting any younger, so I like them taking Terrion Arnold here. And we're going to stop sharing, and we're going to go back. So let's get to the... So now here's my NFL locks of the week. My first one on Thursday is the Cowboys. -11 to cover against the Commanders. I think the Cowboys are going to easily win this game, and I think the Cowboys easily win this game by a lot, and you'll see later on how much I have, what the final score is going to be. My number 2 cut lock this week is on Friday, and it's the Dolphins -10 against the Jets. I don't think the Jets are going to score more than 10 points against the Dolphins because Tim Boyle is the starting quarterback for the Jets. And if that doesn't tell you that the Jets are desperate, they benched Zach Wilson and made him the third string QB. I don't know what that tells you if it doesn't tell you anything. And then my third lock of the week is on Sunday, and it's the Buccaneers -2 to cover against the Colts. Now, here's my upset picks this week for the NFL. My first upset is Texans +1.5 to upset the Jaguars. I think this is going to be a really good game. This decides who takes first place in the AFC South for at least this week. And I think it's going to be the Texans that pull the upset here. And you'll see what I have the final score being later on. My second upset is the Bengals +1 to upset Pittsburgh. I like this upset, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to happen because the Steelers just fired Matt Canada, their offensive coordinator. And I think they're going to want to come out and play with a vengeance and show Matt Canada he messed up for not unlocking the full potential of the Steelers offense. But I still like the Bengals to upset. And this third upset, you might call me a little bit crazy. Raiders +3.5 to upset Kansas City. To upset Chiefs. This one it's kind of bonkers, but I think it could possibly happen. I don't know why, I just think it could. And now here's my game picks. Thursday games. Packers, Lions. I have the Lions winning 42-28. The Packers will be without Aaron Jones, most likely. And I think the Lions, yes, you can throw on the Lions defense. It's very suspect. But I still like the Lions to win this game and win it big. 42-28. That could be the final score. Or it could be a bigger, they could win by a lot more. Second one, Cowboys, Commanders. I have the Cowboys winning this game by a score of 48-28. So that would make it 10, which means they would cover the point spread, which is 11 points right now. And the last game on Thursday that I have is 49ers Seahawks. I have the 49ers winning 35-28. Friday game, Dolphins Jets. I have the Dolphins winning 42-21. Game picks part 2. This is where I got it. Saints Falcons. I have the Falcons winning 28-21. This is for first place in the NFC South. So I think it's going to be a very competitive game. And I think the Falcons win it. Steelers, Bengals. I have the Bengals winning. Obviously, they're one of my upsets. 35-28 is going to be the final. Jags and Texans. Like I said, this is going to be a very, very high-scoring game. And I think it's going to end up 42-35 Texans. CJ Stroud has another big week. And everybody feels fine with that drafted him at the end of your draft this year. Patriots, Giants. The Patriots have not named a starting quarterback yet. But I have a suspicion that it might be Bailey Zappi. And I like the Patriots to win this game rather easily. 35-14. Panthers, Titans. This is two teams that are just pathetically boring to watch. But I have the Titans winning this game 28-14. I like Will Levis. And I think Mike Vrabel can do special things, and their offensive coordinator can do special things with Will Levis. I like the Titans to win this game. Buccaneers, Panthers. Buccaneers, Colts, I mean. Buccaneers are one of my locks, and I have the Buccaneers winning 35-21. I think Baker Mayfield has not one, not two, not three, four touchdown passes to four different receivers. One to Kate Otten, one to Mike Evans, one to Chris Godwin, and one to either Rachaad White or Trey Palmer. And I like the Buccaneers to win. Sunday late games and Sunday night. Rams, Cardinals. I have the Cardinals winning this one 35-28. The Rams are falling back down to earth, and they're going to keep on losing games. And I like the Cardinals to win this game. Kyler's looked good since he's come back. And that is why I think the Cardinals win this game. Browns, Broncos. I have the Broncos winning 35-28. Now, this would be different if Deshaun Watson was playing and the Browns were fully healthy. No Chubb, no Watson. I think the Broncos beat them 35-21. And the other thing with the Broncos is they're playing really good football right now. They're playing inspiring football. They've won 3 in a row. Chiefs and Raiders. I have the Raiders winning this one close. 35-32. Something about this game just smells upset to me. And that's why I picked the Raiders earlier to pull the upset. And I think the Raiders could do it. Antonio Pierce has got these boys playing with purpose and pizzazz. He does not want to see the team do bad. Bills and Eagles. I have the Bills winning this game 35-28. I do think this one's going to be a really darn good game. And I'm surprised it's not the Sunday night game. And like I said, I like the Bills to win. Their offense looked better without Ken Dorsey. Joe Brady knows what he's doing. And the last game, Chargers, Ravens. I like the Ravens in this game, 35-28. Like I said about Eagles and Bills, Chargers and Ravens has the potential to be a shootout. So if you have any fantasy guys in the game, and same with the Bills and Eagles, I would start them. And they probably will have a big game. And now, last but not least, to finish up the show, here are my college football upset picks for today's show. My first one is Boston College plus 8.5 to upset Miami of Florida. Okay, I know I'm going to have to explain why. Miami just does not, they don't look like they care. They don't look like they want to play anymore. They look like they just want to give up on the season and move on to the offseason. That is why I think Boston College is going to pull the upset here. Number 2, I have California plus 9 to upset UCLA. I may sound crazy for this upset, but I think it could happen. I really think it could happen. For one of two reasons. One being, I think UCLA is riding high after beating USC. And I think they could be looking toward their bowl game. And I think that's where Cal could get them and say, oh, we can upset UCLA. Because they're still riding high from beating USC last week. And my number 3 upset is Texas A&M plus 11 to upset LSU. This upset it's a little bit bonkers, but I think LSU, like I just said about UCLA, they could be looking ahead to see who they're going to play in bowl season. And they could be like, oh, A&M, it's whatever, we'll beat them. And A&M comes out and says, no, you're not going to beat us that easy. And A&M might beat LSU plus 11. My cover picks. Oklahoma, my first cover pick is Oklahoma -10 to cover point spread against TCU. I think Oklahoma easily covers the spread here against TCU because TCU is having a down year, 1 year removed from being in the playoff and playing in the national championship. My second cover is SMU -18 to cover point spread against Navy. I think SMU just blows the doors off of Navy, and I think they do end up covering the point spread here. And my last cover pick is Oregon State +13.5 to cover the point spread against Oregon. I think Oregon wins, but there's a way that I think Oregon State covers. And I know we love that. I know we love covers. I know we love when teams cover. We went 10 of 18 last week on picks. Let's see how we do this week. My first over-under is New Mexico versus Utah State over 61.5. I looked at some stats before the show, and Utah State and New Mexico both score a lot of points. So I like over 61.5 in this game. And right, the second over I like is Coastal Carolina James Madison. Over 50 points. James Madison is going to be at a foul mood this week after losing their first game of the season last week against App State. And I think, I'm sorry, Coastal Carolina, but I think James Madison takes out their anger and frustration on Coastal Carolina and beats them bad and the overhits. Now, this last one, it's a boring, it sounds boring, and the total is boring too. Ohio and Akron, under 41 points. Neither of these teams can particularly score a lot of points, and I think that is why the under will hit in this game. And I forgot something when I was doing the NFL. Here's my best bets for the NFL this week. Take the Dolphins -10 to cover the point spread against the Jets. Take the first half over 23.5 points in the Jaguars-Texans game. And take the Texans team total over 33.5 points. And I do offer memberships if you would feel generous enough to buy one. They are 99 cents a month, $2.99 a month, and $9.99 a month. And you get cool perks with the memberships. From you get to compete with me in fantasy football to, in the near future, you get to participate in meetups with me and meet me in person and get to know me a little bit better. To you get shout outs on videos when you comment, to you get your comments answered first when you're a member, and you might also get member only live streams. Members only. But ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's show. I will see you back here Friday at noon. Have a lovely, wonderful, awesome Thanksgiving. Goodbye. Peace. I'm out.